Hi everyone, this is Tianai. Today I want to do a short video on introduction to D3 JavaScript. In this short video, we will be talking about what it is and why we want to use it and do some code out together. So D3 is short for Data-Driven Document. It's a JavaScript library for producing dynamic and interactive data visualizations. So what you can do with D3 is that you can use it to build different pie charts or bar charts. And if you are interested, you can go to their official site and click on example tab, and you can see like different cool stuff people can do with D3 library. So a little quick history about D3 JavaScript. It was created by Mike Bostock, and the previous version of this is called Protovis. It's basically a library to generate SVG graphics from data. So it's pretty similar to what is D3 right now. Since we have limited time, if you are interested in D3 JavaScript, please go to this link so that you can see the full API references. So why we want to use it? So we learned about SVG in class. SVG is a really cool tool to create graphics, and then it won't lose quality even if we resize it or zoom it. But if we put this kind of code inside over HTML, it's kind of like not flexible enough or scalable enough, so that we have to kind of do a bunch of them. So that's why these three actually give us a lot, make it more easier for us to do it. So it make it really easy to do data visualization and data interaction. What this is really good for is to show the relationship between different data. I've been mentioned a lot about charts, and the picture I show you is also about charts, but D3.js is actually not a charting library. And since these three require data and graphics, and if you're working on graphics that doesn't have a data file to go with it, these three might not be a good library to work with. Okay. So now let's finally do some code in these three. So feel free to copy this link and fork fork this starter code so that we can all work together. Also, don't forget to run a local server on your machine. So in order to use these three JavaScript in our project website, the only thing we need to add to the HTML file is this line of code. And if you go to your starter code, you'll see it's already here. Okay, so we're all good here. So feel free to pause this video at any point if you feel you want to review the code or copy paste the code. So before we actually run the starter code in our local server, I just want to talk a little bit about the basic element we have. So we have in D3, we have element called select and append. So they're pretty much the same as jQuery. Select is you select an element from the HTML file, and then once you select it, you can append a new element like a paragraph or a tag or an ID number to it. And then these three also have these different codes for add details to a certain elements like style, attributes, and text. So previous slides I show you how to do a SVG circle inside HTML, and here we're just going to look at the code to create a circle in these three using these three languages. Okay, so if you go to the go to your JS file in the starter code, you will see here we are selecting the chart ID chart, which is a SVG element I created in HTML, and then inside it I append a text circle. So now I can create a SVG circle graphic. And after that, I'm just assigning different attributes to it: the radius, the center X, center 1, and the color of it. So now if you want to run it in your local server, you should get a right circle. Okay, cool. So now let's actually do something like more related to these three, which is bind data. So if we want to bind data, we have to first create a data file. So here I have a really simple one, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the code that we need to bind the data is by calling .data. And what's in the parent, it's the name of the data file. So here is kind of the same, so it's kind of confusing, but yeah, hope you understand that. So we step back so let's just step back a little bit. So just think about I select the hashtag chart from HTML, and then right now if I want to do select all circle tag, I don't have a circle right now, right? So these three actually help us to create multiple circle if we want to have them. So the code will be enter. So what enter is do is that it's gonna put placeholder for missing elements. So here if we do enter, it actually places 5 placeholder for under our SVG chart, since there's 5 elements inside our circle inside our data. So now if we want to append circle on it, we'll create 5 circle tag, since there's 5 elements in our data. So let's do that really quick. Okay. So I'm gonna store this as a variable so we can refer to it really quick. And once I store that, what I can do is my chart select all. So right now I'm not selecting anything because I don't have the circle, right? And then do data. So we pass in the data to it. And now we'll do enter, so that at this point we are placing placeholder for the missing circle tag. And at this point we'll append the circle and then still do the same thing for the attributes of the circle. So we save that and then we run it again in our local host. Then if you see inspect elements, and what you see here is that we are actually creating 5 different circles. They're just overlapping each other because they have the same x and y and the same radius, right? So now let's actually do something so we can see actually 5 circles going on our page. Well, way we can do that, we can do a function on that. So we'll pass in d. D will be like the data we have here. Then we can return d times 50 so that each circle should separate by 50 pixels. And what d will be is that d will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for each circle. Okay, so if we say here, so now you can see we actually have 5 different circles, and then their x is separated by 50. And then it's like 50 times 1, 50 times 2, and so forth. Okay. Okay, now we want to remove something. So say we want to remove the elements on the page. We can use a remove code. So let's still do here. So say I want to remove my circles now. So let's set another variable here so I can quickly refer to it. Circle is that. So if I want to call circle.remove, once we refresh it, the circle is gone because I removed it. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about here is exit. So we can exit an element if that element is not currently on the page within the data that we're reading. So a lot of time we might create another new data, and then inside the new data, we actually don't have a circle element in it. And then once we call exit, it will return all the element that is on the page but not in the current new data file we have. So let me just do a quick example for you. So here we can create a new data. So this should be pretty familiar to you. So this time I'm only putting 3 elements in there, and then I'm gonna create a new chart select all. So I'm doing pretty much the same thing, but right here now I will pass in the new data file that we have. Okay, and to make them different, I'm gonna set the color to be dark green. Okay, so we save that. Oops, let's get rid of this line of code so that it actually show up. So here you can see, so the first 3 elements in the circle become green now, right? Okay, so that's like the 3. So now, right now, the two is shouldn't be on the page anymore because it's not in our new data. So the way we can get them is by doing circles edit, remove. Okay, so now we should potentially remove the other two. Okay, so if here we just do directly circle remove, we'll remove the current element that we're talking about. But once we call exit, it means that it can only return the data that is not in our current data here. Okay, typo here. Cool. So let's just see here. So there we go. And to make it more fancier, we can add a transition in there so you can actually see it's actually disappearing. There we go. So that's something, a really quick presentation about these three JavaScript. I hope you guys enjoy it and kind of learn about like how you can select, append things, and do some like cool thing with it. So feel free to ask me any question or go to the official site, and there's more tutorials for you to walk through and do more cool stuff. Thank you.